I was asking why this case has made such big news. Who is Alex Murdaugh?
Well, Murdaugh is a double murderer now, convicted, and he's a scion of a very famous family, fourth-generation chief prosecutors down there in the region, very influential historically and in terms of wealth and influence. And the crimes are just so heinous that it's difficult to imagine that anyone could have committed them, much less somebody in his position. So the combination of all of those factors have created a media storm, and the media has been quick to capitalize on it as well, with the trial having been broadcast on several of the national cable networks in large part, and it was a 6-week trial. So there's been saturation coverage.
He continues to plead his innocence. Can we expect, therefore, that he will appeal?
I think an appeal is almost certain, especially since he's guaranteed one as of right. But and given the complexity of certain parts of the case, he does have, I would say, a chance better than perhaps the average murder defendant. But there is still substantial evidence against him, and the battle for him will be uphill. But there are going to be some interesting questions presented regarding the sufficiency of the evidence.
Well, looking at the evidence, this trial has had its ups and downs, with one of the defense lawyers alongside him accusing investigators of fabricating evidence. Do you think there's anything to that? Is the case airtight?
Well, the case isn't. No cases really can be said to be airtight when the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. But the jury, we can see they deliberated very quickly. They were not too concerned, and the judge himself pronounced himself in agreement with the jury's verdict that only is relevant for the sentencing. But it does go to show that it's not just the jury that felt the evidence was very strong. So, but it turns largely on the use of evidence that is somewhat indirect, because the murder weapons were never found and there were no eyewitnesses to the crimes. So things like cell phone geolocation data and the fact that the defendant himself lied about what he was doing were some of the key pieces in the evidence against him.
Lisann, thank you very much for being with us with that additional information.